What's up, you guys? Greg here at Edge Body Boot Camp. Got another nutrition seminar for you. Today we are going to talk about eating to prepare your body for a job. All right. Whenever we eat foods, we are taking in macronutrients. Each one of those macronutrients, your fats, carbs, and proteins, does something different. They all work together, and they're telling your body, combined, we are built and ready to perform this certain job. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna break this down into 3 different meals, and we're going to go if it's an active job or if it's an inactive job. So this would be if you're working out, if you're going hiking, if you are playing a sport, if you're a construction worker. This would be if you are sitting at home watching some TV, watching some sports, or maybe you work a desk job. All right, so 2 different levels of activity there. We're gonna break this down into some similar meals. So first, I wanna cover some basics, all right? Every nutrient is valuable. Your fats are going to lubricate the cells so that they can absorb other nutrients, all right? Your carbohydrates are going to enter the cell and they're going to provide it with sugars that it needs for locomotor movement, all right? For your muscles to be able to move and you be able to do physical activity. All right, fats are going to provide energy as well, but that's more of a cognitive energy. It's more for your brain to function. And then proteins are there to make everything work seamlessly and to recover all your cells, muscles, tissues, organs, whenever they become damaged. All right, so very important to have all 3 of those in a cycle together. So we're gonna break this down. This first meal is gonna be a breakfast meal. If you are active, we're gonna go 1 whole egg, 4 egg whites, half a cup of oatmeal. And combined, that is gonna give you 380 to 400 calories, plenty of calories to fuel yourself for 3 to 4 hours of activity. And it's gonna break down to 9 grams of fat, 50 carbohydrates, and 29 calories. All right, so overall, what we're doing here is we're shifting for an active meal. We're giving our body a little more carbohydrate calories than we are fat calories. All right, keeping our protein in that 20 to 30 grams range. Now, if you come back in, look at the inactive version of this meal. We're going 2 whole eggs, 1 egg white, a couple strips of turkey bacon, and a slice of toast. That's gonna give us 290 calories, which is a little less than the 380 to 400. It's also gonna give us 14 grams of fat, 20 carbs, and 21 grams of protein. You'll see that's just a little more fat and quite a few less carbs. And what that's doing is giving you a little bit more of an even balance of nutrients to tell your body, hey, we aren't really going out here and breaking a sweat or anything, but we're getting a good mix of all these nutrients so that we can work and function properly without a ton of calories, because we aren't burning excess calories if we're inactive. So it's gonna fall into the proper calorie range and the proper balance of nutrients for our inactive time. So there's a couple breakfast options for you. What's up, Blake? Get Blake on the video. Let her be a star for a second. She's in here running around with the cereal. All right, next up is a lunch meal, okay? That was skills. Just picked up a baby with 1 arm, that was cool. So for lunch meal, I chose like a rice bowl here. You'll see our active meal. We got 4 ounces of chicken, half a cup of beans, half a cup of rice, and a 1/4 cup of tomatoes. Hot sauce is always okay. All right, that's gonna total up to 350 calories with 5 grams of fat, 47 carbs, and 29 grams of protein. Very similar to the macro and calorie range as the breakfast. If you're active, these are numbers that you will need to hit. All right, again, you're prepared with the carbohydrates for the physical activity. You're going to be using those carbohydrates through movement, through contracting those muscles. You gotta get them in, all right? Similar meal, but built for an inactive time. We're going to disperse the nutrients a little more evenly, drop the calories down just a little bit. Half an avocado for our fat source, 3 ounces of chicken, 1/4 cup of beans, 1/4 cups of rice. Those are our carbohydrate sources. We're gonna drop those down a little bit, and a 1/4 cup of tomatoes gives us 345 calories. You can see instead of 47 carbs, it's only 25, and instead of 5 grams of fat, it's 16. Protein is very similar. All right, same thing, very similar meal. We're telling our body to do two different jobs. All right, you hear me, Blake? 2 different jobs. You're either active or inactive. So when you're going through Qdoba, you can create this meal for whatever your needs are. All right, this is an energy in, energy out situation where if you take in more energy than you're expending, you're going to gain weight. If you expend more than you take in, you will lose it. So we're trying to make sure that these active times, we're giving ourselves more calories for that, and inactive times, we're not continuing the higher intake. All right, one more meal here. We have like a pasta type meal. All right, we're gonna go over our active time here. We want the carbohydrates. So we'll start here, 358 calories, broken down to 6 fats, 48 carbs, and 28 grams of protein. Very similar numbers to what we have up here for our active time. If you do 3 ounces of the 99.1 lean ground turkey, 2.5 ounces of protein pasta, and a half a cup of that good old pasta sauce. All right, sounds delicious, right? So here's a couple key points here. The leanness of your turkey does matter. You can't get 93.7. You definitely can't get 85.15. All right, because that's gonna bring more fat. And when we're active, we don't want that fat. The reason we keep the fat calories low is because one of the qualities of fat is that it slows down digestion. All right, and we want these sugars to be readily available. We gotta digest those quickly. So we gotta keep the fat down with that leanness of the turkey. All right, second note here, 2.5 ounces of protein pasta. Turn around, show it. All right, Blake is feeding her cereal right now as she's filming here. It's amazing. Your pasta claw, your handle that has the hole in the middle, all right, that spoon, the ladle, whatever it's called, that little hole there, if you fill that up with dry pasta, that's 2 ounces. So you need just a little more than about a quarter's circumference of pasta there. It's 2.5 ounces. And that's gonna be your perfect active meal. You see the balance of nutrients, we talked about that. Now, the inactive version, if you want something similar to pasta, you can still get your 4 ounces of turkey, but now we're gonna go 93.7, all right? A little higher fat content. We're gonna go a whole cup of zucchini noodles, all right? Zucchini noodles are far less carbs than our protein pasta over here. And I should be more specific about this protein pasta. This is Barilla brand protein pasta, all right? Not just any pasta here. So our zoodles, they're gonna be less carbohydrates than that. We're gonna throw a half a cup of broccoli in there just for some texture and flavor, just to make this meal something a little more extravagant. And again, with our half a cup of pasta sauce, and you can even throw a couple tablespoons of shredded cheese on there. This meal comes out to be 338 calories, still has our 32 grams of protein, plenty of protein, 21 carbohydrates, which puts it in our 20 to 25 grams per meal in inactive times that we need, 14 grams of fat, around 15, just like all those other meals. It is the exact balance of nutrients. Key words, y'all, balance of nutrients that you need during inactive periods. All right, the whole point to all of this is that no matter what you're eating, all right, it's not the choice of food that matters. That is for you to decide individually, and that's for you to be able to come up with and express yourself with. What really matters is the balance of nutrients that you get. That balance, if you're going higher carb, lower fat, moderate protein, that's gonna prepare you for a job that is more physical. The balance between fats and carbohydrates being more even is going to prepare you for more sedentary lifestyles. The reason I say this is because this is the objective type speaking. If you aren't gonna count every calorie, these are the thought processes that you should go through, that I go through every time I eat a meal to get the best results, to feel great, build muscle, and burn fat. It's not that hard, you just have to practice. Everything's scary at first. When you first got your permit, you were so scared you were gonna wreck that car, right? This is a little scary. It can be intimidating, but you gotta jump in. You gotta drive your mom somewhere. And then you gotta practice. You gotta drive yourself to school. And after a few weeks, you're kicked back, you're too cool, right? Too cool driving. After a few weeks of practicing this, you're gonna be going through the line of Qdoba, you're gonna be making your breakfast at home. Too cool. All right, it's gonna have the perfect nutrients. That's what I wanna see, y'all. Too cool for school, do it.